Shalom and welcome to another training on MySQL Workbench. This is going to be the final part, the part 12. So far so good. In the previous tutorials, as you know, we could already practice so much, and I'm going to give you a report at the end of this session too. For example, last week we could do the set on delete null or and on delete cascade. Now let's go back to our database to add a check constraint. This is the one we have not performed yet. And to see also how to export an SQL file to Microsoft Access. Let's start. All right, so let me give a comment here first. Now adding a check constraint. That's an example, of course. You can choose your own example afterward. First, we are going to create another table. For this example, we are going to call it just create add check table. Write it like this. And we're going to do a add check ID. We're going to int it, unique, and primary key. We're going to varchar 50. And we want, let's get a add check hourly payment per hour. Make sure I make an underscore here. Add check hourly pay, and of course here we want int add property, and here we're going to add date. How about that? And here we want some dates, comma. Almost done. Now we just have to add this constraint and add the HK. We're going to do that on the hourly pay. And we have to specify here check, of course, constraint. What do you want to constraint? Check, and then open the parentheses, hourly pay. Okay, I made it slow so you can understand. And then we want, I would say, I don't know, somebody who has a high position in a company, a higher position as the other one. Let's say he wants nothing less than equal or more than 45 per hour. Let's put it like this, .00, and we close the parentheses and the semicolon. Okay, let me see if it looks good. If I have no typo, create table, add check table, add check ID int, add check name, add check hourly pay, and add check start date. And then the constraint, add check hourly pay, check, add check hourly pay more or equal 45 Swiss francs or dollar or euro. Whatever you want. Okay, now we can just execute and see. Okay, we have created it. We refresh, and now we want to take a look at it. Select all from a checker, and I have the suggestion right here, and I semicolon this one, and we take a look at it. And here it is, our add check table is created. All right, now that our table is looking good and fine, now how do we do it? How do we proceed to test if the check is going to work or not? We do that by inserting, some values in it. Let me just comment it right here. Testing the check by inserting an hourly pay of, let's say 15, and then of 35, just to see, the warning or the violation message. And then we are going to put the exact amount like 45, and then we are going to try also above, you know, to see that these last examples are going to be accepted. This is how we take the check. Okay, we start. So we insert. Now you know how to do that, to insert into add check. So long story short, as I said, our first example is going to be, you know, 15 Swiss francs or whatever dollars for Mary, for instance. And normally we should receive a violation of the check. It should come red this time. Okay, let's do it and see. And of course, it is red and it's written, as you can see here, check constraint at hourly pay is violated. It did not respect the add check constraint, so that's why it's red. And another example, now we're going to get 35 and it should come also red, because it's not 45, just to show you how it works. And it's red again, and the same thing, check constraint violated. Now we do the Lara. Lara, she received 45. I always make sure I refresh and save, because that's very important. Okay, we were here by Lara. She received 45. Now it should be green because it does respect our constraint right here. I hope you remember. It should respect our constraint. So now by Lara, it should come green. We execute, and now by Lara, it's green. So the hourly pay is accepted because it's 45. And now by 52, it should work too because it's equal or above or equal. So it should work too by Claude. Okay, we execute, and by Claude, it's also green. So now we go and take a look at our table again, and we can see that we have added 2 hourly pay which are respecting the constraint by Lara and Claude. Okay, it's working. This is how it works. This is very easy to understand, but it's also important. That's a good to know too. I wanted to finish our database with this function right here. And now what we want to do is that we are going to take a look at everything we have done so far, so we can go and connect it, our file, to access Microsoft Access. Okay, this is all our work. Right now I really want to do the connection with the SQL file on Microsoft Access. The way we do it is that first of all you have to make sure your database is selected. And once your database is selected, you wanna choose the tables you wanna go get in Microsoft Access. I don't want all tables, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna choose our last 3. You remember how we did the set on delete cascade with 2 strange tables called something and someone. So I'm gonna call this, and this is our table something. Let's go and export this one first. So we go by tab query, and then we go by result, export result, and I'm just going to leave it this way, something .csv. CSV, you have to save as a CSV file in order to go get it in Microsoft Access. It's easier to do it so. And you put it, I would suggest you just put it on your desktop. That's what I'm going to do right now. I put it on my desktop and I save. And once I have saved, I can go to Access. I open Access right now. So we're going to see about this table first, and I'm going to open a new page, a blank one. And here you already have a table, but it's empty, as you can see here. And now you go by external data, and then by new data source, and from file, and you choose text file because your file is a CSV. So you click in here. This is for those who don't know. Then you go and browse, the location where you place the something CSV we just created, and you can import it. There are many ways. Here I'm going to choose the import the source data into a new table in the current database. I don't want to do it complicated, but you can also append a copy of the records to the table, and you can link to the data source by creating a linked table. There you can choose as you wish. I'm just going to do the simplest way to show to those who don't know how to do it. I'm going to OK here. And here you can see that the default is right for you. It's delimited characters such as comma or tab separate each field. That's true. So we next here. And here we accept the default because it looks good and it's true. So it's by comma separated. And the first row contains the field names. If you don't check this one, it's going to give you, a default name for your for your field for the first row. So we want to keep that. We want to keep the our own titles here. And before I do next, I don't want, for instance, you don't want one column. Like I want this column, the something ID, I want the something name, but I don't want the something date. So you have to go by advanced. And from here, you can skip one column. I'm going to skip the column date because usually date, sometimes we have problem with the date. Just to show you that you can skip a column. So you OK that. And then you next. And, as long as it looks good the way you want, then you're good. We next this one. And you want to choose your own primary key. That's important, or else they're going to give you another primary key. So I'm going to choose something ID as primary key, and I'm going to next, and I'm going to leave it like this, something table, and we finish. And if you want, you can save the import step, but I'm not going to do it, so I close. And as you can see here, we have our table. So we have two tables. We have this one we don't need, that's the default one. And then we have our something table right here. So here, as I said, I kept you can make it bigger. I remember I have also access tutorials in the past. They are still on YouTube. You can take a look at it. I'm very advanced in that level, but I'm not going to go back to that in here. It's just to show you that you can connect your SQL file in your Microsoft Access. And here you can make the column bigger, and here you can add another column. For instance, you can add a new date and time. I'm not going to do that yet. I want to show you that we can do that again. Let's go back to MySQL. Let's add our hourly check table, and then we are going to get another one. So first we have to, as I said, you have to display the table. Once you have it, you go back to query, you export the result, and I put it again on my desktop, and we can save this one, and then we go back to access, and we can get this one imported. So external data, no source, from file text, and this time you go get so we add check, we take this one, we open, and same process, we OK. And then you see it's the same thing. You have to check here again, and then we go here and we say, okay, I don't want the date, tag, you OK, just showing you, and then next, and we next, and here again we want to choose our primary key, and we next, and we have our add check table. So we finished. We don't want to keep the step, and we already have two tables. We open this one. So we have, let me remove the default one, I don't need it. So we have the something table and the add check. So we have our add check idea here. You see it will respect your choice. Okay, now we are going to do the same with one of the tables contained in my SQL Workbench already. Let's go and do that. You have on my SQL Workbench, you have all the database they were given here. You can train with this one. They are good too. We have, for instance, here this table, the Sakila, the database called Sakila with a lot of tables you can train with. And this one you can also decide to export it. So we can open another page here, and here we can choose the one table. Let's choose the, I don't know, the category one, to make sure you set it as default schema. Once you have it, you have the tables here. This is the table category, so you can go here and just select all from category and semicolon, and then you execute. So once you have this table open, this one too you can export. So we are going to do the same thing. We go by query, we export category, and we place it again on the desktop, just to make sure you have 3 examples, and it works. So you choose to save it on your desktop. Once you have it there, you go back to Access, and in Access you do the same process from text file, and this time we are going to choose the one we have on the desktop, this one category. We open, and same thing, we want to import this way, and so here we next. I don't know this table, but I think it's pretty much the same thing. You can see that they have title also for the first row, so we next this one, and same thing, we can next here, and we want to choose also the primary key is going to be category ID. Same thing here, you can go and skip, you can skip something. Name and last update. Well, there is not a lot here, so I'm not going to do anything here. I'm just going to leave it this way, and we can next because I don't have a lot of column, and we call it category. You can call it as you want. We finish, and you can see that we have 1, 2, 3 tables. Let's open the category 2. You see, and here you can always add whatever you want. Okay, so you really can work by connecting MySQL Workbench database inside Microsoft Access. It works pretty well. Okay, let's go back now to our own database we created. Okay, now back here, I don't want this table Sekila no more. That was a good example, but you see they have another one, sys, and they have another one called world. So you can, and they have all the functions also. You can see that they have views, they have stored procedures, so you can also work with it. But of course, I will recommend you to create your own database for the practice. So this one I'm going to remove the SQL4. I don't need it. I don't need to save it. I prefer my own database. Okay, let me go back and set it as a default schema. And what I wanted to tell you is that first of all, I want to save and change the name of this one. I'm gonna call it Work for God, because this is my Work for God .sql. I save this one, and of course I want to replace. Let me scroll back to the top so we can see everything we have performed together. We have 12 parts. We started on the 13th, 11/24, and we finished on the on today, the 29th, 01. What I wanted to tell you is that, of course, you can have this database we created, work for God. It's for free. All I'm asking is, a good feedback, or any donation, of course, is welcome, but any good feedback if you want my work for God database. That's a lot of work right there, but it's very interesting. We started with the creation of a view, a default constraint, a concatenate, stored procedure, subquery, a function, union, trigger, limit, close, join, time travel, accurate table, with past, present, future. We could create an index, add a unique constraint, remove duplicates in short and long version. That was still in 2024, and in 2025 we could use different logical operators, aggregate functions, the selection of specific rows, and we could use also the wildcards. We could roll up, see also the difference between group by and order by. We could create an event, which was also very interesting to know. We did also the difference between where and having close, and we could also some bank accounts transactions. Then we could set on delete cascade, and today we could see how to add a check constraint and how to export your MySQL files or tables to Microsoft Access. That was a lot, and this is the most important to know. I do that for those who are, who don't have the opportunity to go to school, who just want to learn. So I hope you enjoyed this class, and if you have any question, of course, you are welcome to leave any comment or to send me a message. Thank you for watching. God bless you. Bye-bye.